So Team Wild and Mia Kafkios, we are here to, yeah, we felt guided to share a little bit about the energies right now.
Mm,
And it's so interesting because we are really going through the same things always. It's just the details that are different, but always when we talk, it's like it comes down to the same
mm.
things.
It does indeed. It does indeed. And we had a really interesting conversation before we went live, didn't we, about the different aspects. And I think the most prominent experience that you and I are having is the brand new template every day. This is and the experiences that we're all having on the ascension pathway are one of having to keep up or getting used to the speed at which everything is moving. Would you say that's
Yeah.
quite a
It was
shift in at the
interesting
moment?
because, yeah, you said that you were talking about that our template is being really renewed every day. And in
Hmm,
the same time, I just received this message the other day about really calling in the teams every morning and asking them to assist to update our
hmm,
template in the highest for each day, which also makes us really becoming this curious little divine inner child which like explores this human experience from
hmm.
a new state every day. And it's actually interesting because in Lemuria we didn't have any memory, so we were experiencing everything exactly as it was in that moment. So it was like, oh, water. Oh my God, and drinking it like, oh, it's so nice. Like having no memory. And it's a little
Yeah,
bit like that now. Like we talked about that. So when I'm going into my field now or going into a client's field, I cannot do as I always do. Like, okay, let's go through the chakras, let's go through the energy bodies. It's like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. Like, wow. Suddenly it's like it goes so fast, the upgrade. So we
yeah.
need to let go of everything kind of that we have known before and like be open.
It's quite incredible because we're coming towards the end of April in 2023, and already so much has happened. We're sat here having this conversation. We're coming up to, I think it's the second big event in the eclipse season, and eclipse season donates new timelines. So every time this energy takes such a sharp uptick, we like you've just said, we completely shift frequency into another bandwidth of energy, which then reveals something completely new. Now, back at, like years ago when we were first starting to get an introduction to this energy, which has now been going on for a decade, it would be introduced in kind of manageable chunks. So we would receive an upgrade, and then we'd have time to get used to it, to integrate it, to almost, begin to wear our new clothes and our new bodies and our
Mm.
new energies, so that it was at a pace that we were able to manage. Now that now that opportunity is given on a daily basis, so there is no real time to get comfortable, get used to it. We have simply got to go into a state of flow and acceptance, which is something which is becoming a real theme. And this is what you were talking to me about when I was coming to you with various situations that I'm experiencing physically, Mia.
Mm.
And you were saying it's about flow and acceptance. The whole thing has to go into a state of constant movement. So we're no longer still for any period of time, are we? It is
Yeah.
movement, 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 and it's up to us to keep up with it.
Yeah, and I was tuning in before we came together this morning and like seeing what the guides wanted to say about this energy that comes in May and June. And it's really about creating space to allow the new to come in. And I mean, both you and me knows what a challenge that is because so much is happening now. So we are, I mean, we really want to assist. We really want to. It's an amazing time. If we've been on this journey for a long time, we're like, it's finally happening. But
Yay.
it's so much about, it's these three different stages where like, okay, I need to create time. Simultaneously, I need to upgrade my core values,
Mm,
and simultaneously, I need to put boundaries for what is not for me, but also stay in that state of innocence. So
mm,
it's a little bit challenging because it's like, okay, as the templates change every day, also our core values become clearer. You can say it's not like they're changing, but they're becoming clearer, and we
mm,
understand them. We feel them physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, which also comes into the physical reality, which makes us in need to make the changes. And we cannot make the changes and we cannot invite the new if we not have enough of time. And energetically, unfortunately, we're actually going to experience energies of burnout. We are
mm,
experiencing the energies of burnout. It's going to continue May and June. So we need to relax, we need to restore, and we need to create enough time for the new. And that's where it can become a little like, oh, because also all these new energies and upgrades comes and you get like, wow, I want to do this and this. But we need to let go of the old first to invite the new.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. That's I think if we're looking at two different states of play here that are going on around the world, we've got this incredible acceleration in our individual process, but we're also witnessing firsthand the collective shift. One of the as well as having eclipse season, and we're in the middle of that, as well as a Mercury retrograde. I mean, like everyone go, oh, not another retrograde kind of thing. Let's embrace these things as they come to us because they're actually designed specifically to assist whatever process is going on. And the most interesting transition, I've talked about it in my workshops and my updates, is the position where Pluto and what Pluto's doing, shifting from Aquarius back to Capricorn and then into Aquarius again. This movement of energy is it's revolution energy. So we're witnessing a revolution of consciousness around the world, and it's not the same. It's not the same revolution of consciousness that we would have witnessed at the time of the French Revolution. This is obviously there are people that are expressing a huge amount of disquiet and anger with the way things are occurring, but underneath it all, it's all being carried out in this very high frequency framework of energy, so it only has potential to move in one direction, and that direction is to awaken all of the people on the planet who have been not just sitting on the fence but have been completely immersed still in the depths of the illusion. The illusion is no longer available. It is simply the pre-programming that is allowing people to still retain that margin of the old state of consciousness, and that is being taken away. And we're seeing that firsthand now in the effects that it's having on the people around us. Energetically, for our nervous systems, that's putting a lot of pressure on us. Where it's like you said, Mia, the burnout. Not only are we keeping up with this new template every day, we have to adjust to how our nervous systems perceive that. And a lot of people have been in fight and flight, haven't they, for a long time? It's
Mm.
created like a shock, like,
Mm.
okay, this is not staying still anymore. I am upgrading on a daily basis. The world around me is changing. My nervous system is literally going, ah, what's occurring? And we're now kind of almost settling into that pace of movement, but we can't be still for too long. That pace will increase again on a daily basis between now, May, June, the solstice month, and then we're looking at the remarkable piece of time between the solstice and the Lion's Gate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's flying. It's absolutely flying this year. It
It's
really is.
crazy, and there were so many things I would like to share when you were sharing that just the flow. But but it's so much about the physical energy body. So we have been working so much on the spiritual energy body. We're receiving, usually for us listening here, we're receiving the information, we kind of easily
Mm,
retrieve it into our like spiritual energy body, and then we work it through on the mental and the emotional, but the physical is which is the one that still reacts
mm,
out of the nervous system, and the nervous system and the cellular memory and the DNA memory from lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, and also through our blueprint, gold print out to our soul extension. So our physical body needs to be as important or even more important than the other energy bodies. And I mean, we've been doing activations and healings, and we like to go to these fluffy energies, but the time has come right for but it has been going on for quite a while, this
yeah.
like coming to you back to your body and
Mm,
listen to your body, and
yeah.
like really use it as a vessel. And we have been using it as a vessel, but I mean, so many times when we go in and look at your field team or my field, we have this warrior energy and sacrificing energy, and we
Mm,
came here to shift that now
yeah.
also. So it's massive. So why people are feeling so much in the hips, in the lower back,
Mm,
having like almost like an inflammation in the body, it's because everything in the pain body needs to be cleared now,
mm,
and otherwise we cannot move up to the crystalline. So and that comes down to like, okay, what do I eat? How do I sleep? How do I rest? And I know it has been a subject for a long time, but it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and
yeah.
deeper. And it's really about, almost like, after each and every meal, how does this affect my energy body? I mean,
Mm,
we do it when we go to a healing. We're really like, okay, was this good for me or not? We can spend so much time in thinking, was this healing or this activation or this healer or activator good for me? But we just shuffle in the food and then we go. But it's the same thing. Like, how did this food like affect me in
mm,
this moment? Where I am in my vibration and in the initiation. I mean, so I mean, everything is coming to a point where we are gonna kind of live more minimalistic throughout all the way to the Lionsgate, but it's still about having routines, but
mm,
new routines. So the big word is like new, that my guides are showing, like new
mm, mm,
routines, new
yeah.
way of relaxing, new ways. And the physical body also want us to meet, like you and me, we haven't met yet physically, and we
I
know it's going to
know.
be like
Crazy,
so
isn't it?
much activation because
Yeah.
there's so many lifetimes. And we were guided now to have this gathering in Glastonbury in
In
June,
June.
the days just before the solstice. So it's
Gonna be
also
the
about literally.
prelims, the warm up.
Exactly. So just the days before to really look at, soul purpose activation. How can I really activate the soul purpose within me? And we need to see each other, because if we are spending time with mugglers a lot, if we're a lot in the 3D, with people around us that we love but still are
Mm,
maybe not awakened, um, we are automatically shielding, we are automatically contracting. We feel that we cannot
mm,
fully be in our safe energy. So when we come together and meet our soul family, which we're being really guided to do, um, our nervous system will relax. Like when I'm going to meet you, when I'm going to meet the other ones, that have booked out to Glastonbury, my nervous system will relax, and suddenly I can access codes in my physical energy
everything.
body, emotional, mental, spiritual body, that I could not access before, because we have so many
Mm,
lifetimes together, and energy is everything, right? So,
absolutely.
mm,
Absolutely. The importance of working together has never been greater at the moment, particularly when, say, for example, with the event that we're doing on the 18th of June, we're coming together in the heart center of the planet. Glastonbury is the heart center. It's where if you're going to get a point on this beautiful, this beautiful realm that we live in, that anchors the raw energies coming in, it's that place. It's
mm,
connect. It's the portal to the cosmic heart. And people that live in Glastonbury will attest to the fact that you have to It's not as simple. Just going to Glastonbury on a pilgrimage, that's great. But if you live there, you
Mm.
are literally on, it's like the front line. So all of that energy is coming in all the time, and there is no place to hide from the energy.
No.
It is absolutely as pure and unfiltered as it possibly can be. So that particular work on an individual level, an individual has the ability to change the world. A group of individuals focused on an outcome, a goal with intention is powerful beyond measure. And I think that's
Yeah.
a lot of we've underestimated ourselves over the years, or simply maybe just thought that we're not doing as much as we could be doing. In actual fact, we've done an incredible amount the last 10 years. And
Mm.
now when we apply ourselves to group activities, coming together, focusing our intention and our attention and our manifestation on an outcome or a goal, the effect is, it's incredible. and,
Yeah.
and I'm not exaggerating with that either. It's going to be good work.
And I feel also it's like we need that. We need to meet. When I'm noticing when I'm having gatherings, it's like you meet, you remember, you activate, you get so fulfilled. So it's so easy to go back to your beloved ones and
Mm,
just emanate those frequencies and these codes. And that's how we assist also, because as you say, we're gonna need to awaken the whole planet,
yeah.
and with ease and grace we come back, and
Mm,
we are even more easily who we are, and we allow ourselves to be, that spiritual being having a human experience
mm,
without any defense or anything. So that's also something that happens. It's like, okay, I really really remember who I am
yeah.
energetically, and I come back, and then we just are the message. We don't try
Mm.
to do it on others.
No, no,
We like become the message, and that's also
that's it.
something really beautiful. And
That's a
mm,
very important point at the moment. One of the things that was really highlighted at the beginning of the year is the importance of being our authentic self,
mm,
because we have a responsibility for that light and the coding that we hold with regards to the people around us. Now, one of the most beautiful things that I've noticed in the incredible pace that's been going on this year is the organic waking up of many people that, and I was speaking about this in my workshop in Bournemouth on Tuesday night at the talk, there's so many of us now who are actually reporting and witnessing and seeing the waking up of people that maybe 2 or 3 years ago that we had kind of deemed unwakeable. And this is happening everywhere. It's not just isolated clusters. This is something that is part of the witnessing that we're seeing. We've got all of the things that you can moan about in the world because they're out of alignment, but we've also got, if you're looking for the sources of light, if you're looking for the inspiration, look at the effect that you're having on the people around you by being
mm,
your authentic self. But you don't have to go around preaching like you just said, the days of soapboxes are well and truly over.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
be you, resonate, vibrate, show that light, but do it in a way that's organic and natural, just by being you. And the people around us are fully responding to that frequency, because that's the way the ascension process works.
Mm.
It's about light transference and activation, process of remembering, so to speak.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
am noticing that the people that are awakening, they start to understand that, oh my God, I don't want to be in chaotic energy. I don't want to be in dramas. And they're starting to really like notice. I think for many, that's the first awakening. They're like, maybe not connecting, with the angels, but they're
Mm,
like, okay, when I'm with this person, there's no drama. Any chaotic energy just disappears. It's authentic, it's clear, I feel safe. And when I'm here, I become weird. I put on my masks.
yeah.
That's how my kids are explaining a lot of times. They're like, I
Mm,
can be myself with this person. It's so easy. But when I come to this place or with this friends, I put on my masks and everyone is so weird. So
yeah.
it's that kind of thing. And that's actually something also that will be very big in May and June, that we will notice that chaotic energy, if any chaotic energy tries to come into our field,
Mm,
we will clear that immediately.
yeah.
So that's something that is already shifting massively. Like we cannot have, I'm almost allergic to like stories. I'm like, I'm like, sorry, no stories. Please
Yeah.
don't give me the details. Tell me how you feel instead. Like, don't get me into the stories and the details because I'm leaving my body.
Mm.
you know like automatically my body reacts and I'm like, I'm going to Andromeda instead, and I come back in
Yeah.
15 minutes when you're done. So
Don't
it's
need to be
better to
really
be
far along.
honest. It's
Yeah.
better to be honest and like, okay, I understand it was an intense and long story, but can you tell me how do you feel and what do you want right now?
Yeah.
Like, come to the
That again, that's a brilliant point. Is the response. A lot of these responsibilities are just naturally part of our process now. Light transference and the resonant effect that we're having on the people around us, that's alchemy.
yeah
Okay, so also the alchemy process that is involved with reducing density when it is presented, that's also done by the process of us radiating light. I mean, we can call in the spiritual tools, we can use the violet flame, we can involve the angels, the unicorns,
Mm.
but ultimately what we're being guided to do is honor and acknowledge our own power at the highest level. So
Yeah.
we can walk into these spaces now and be the alchemist. We don't have to be the days of us needing to protect ourselves
Mm.
from the harshness of the world around us are well and truly over, because we're in charge of changing that into light, into a higher frequency. So many of us have had to change roles, and we've had to do so quite rapidly in accepting the fact that, we're not in need of protection anymore. We are the protection by simply
Yeah.
in that space, that higher vibration and that light, which is a really interesting switch because it involves a lot of our preperceptions of ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. Are we powerless or are we acknowledging our mastery? That's one of the biggest shifts that all of us make at some point on the ascension process, is losing the victim, becoming the master of all of the situations that we are presented with. Ongoing,
Self-responsibility. And it's
ongoing.
interesting, as you like, when we are in Glastonbury, I was guided that we're going to really practice physically to feel that power.
Mm,
So I was guided that we're going to do like exercises with that, where we really stand up or sit down and feel how it feels to just emanate that energy, the
yeah.
codes, your gifts, because it can be practiced, and it can really be felt if you are in that space that we're also going to create. Of course,
Mm,
it becomes amplified, but once you start to practice to feel how it is to come into a room or be in opposite of a person and just holding space but not losing yourself and just expanding your light,
mm,
expanding your love, expanding your divine power, it's actually, we need to practice that physically.
yeah. Yeah. It's
So
all of these things that we have the capacity to do, we need to relearn how to do them.
exactly, and the time of dimming ourselves is gone.
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's done.
that's
It's
so
just
that's so
just
last paradigm, darling.
so now it's like I'm entering the room and everyone
Yeah, I'm
feels
going
the
to glow.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's so much easier and so much fun.
yeah,
And that's how we
it's natural.
recognize each other. That's how we recognize each other, by each other's light, not by each other's darkness,
No,
which so it's also that. So
yeah.
but also, like, what we were guided to do in Glastonbury is really put the focus on the time between summer solstice and Lion's Gate, which is going to be so, I mean, it's always powerful, but we have awakened enough, we remember enough to really, really use this period, which is kind of the same, but it's a beginning and an ending.
Mm,
So, summer solstice this year, all the way to Lion's Gate, is huge. It's huge. And what would be important is to, again, to create space. Don't pack yourself too much with too much bookings, and because the new needs to come in and come through. And probably many of us have a more open diary after Lionsgate. And,
mm,
and and that's also because there's a lot of new that wants to come in, or by the end of this year. So from 2024, there will be like a space of not too many things booked, because we know that there's things that are going to shift, and we are also so excited to announce that we're going to have our 6 month advanced ascension journey
Yes. Yeah.
starting in the end of September, and we will talk more about that
Going to be
later. But
very advanced as well.
yes, 6 month advanced ascension journey. So we're gonna go deep and we're gonna
Mm.
go hardcore. And like really going into this like sacred mystery
Mm.
schools, because you and me have been working many lifetimes, and many of us have been connecting together. So it's about kind of access those realms, all these masters that we have been hiding and or waiting for, and go and retrieve them.
Yeah.
So we are excited
Yeah.
for that. So
That's going to be good. We've got
mm,
lots of goodies lined up. It's
yeah, but before that, let's use this energy, as you said, use this energy, and the pinpoints is really every day is a new template, so really
yeah.
honor that. Maybe do your own little ritual ceremony in the morning, even if it's just 5 minutes, just like close your eyes, connect with your team, see what they want to present to you that is new at this moment.
I really liked what you said that you were asking your higher self or your team to do is to keep you up, just to keep you up to speed. So it's a little
Exactly.
bit like getting a daily iOS update for yourself, isn't it?
Exactly.
Or
Yeah,
every day is a different. I think you're onto something there, because I think a lot of us are feeling kind of stuck, fried, a bit knocked about by this energy. If we're keeping pace with it, which also involves taking responsibility for our physical selves, that's another lesson and initiation in its own right. But if we're onto the right footing, if we're already keeping pace, that's a massive advantage. So every day we wake up and we say, keep me up to speed with what is going on. And
yeah,
then you might have to make a few adjustments, quite a few adjustments initially, energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But
exactly.
as soon as you're up to speed with it, the whole nervous system thing calms down. I think that's massive.
Yeah, please
Mm.
assist me in updating my template for the highest
Yeah.
this day. And really also see if there's any messages, of course. So maybe they're going to say to you, you can actually not do this, but you can do that. But it's actually, as you say, the holograph within us is also being so very fast upgraded. I see many people talking about dreams. I mean, you probably
Mm-hmm.
had it. The dreams are crazier than ever. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
all these people coming into my dreams, all this ancestral lineage clearing and people coming, and, I'm like, who are you and who are these? And all these people, I'm just closing my eyes, going to sleep, and
Mm.
so many faces coming in. Also, of course, I think all of us are seeing codes, the sacred
Mm-hmm.
geometry on completely new levels. So I also feel it's like becoming like a child going to the movies and seeing this new movie. For me, at least when I close my eyes nowadays, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, all these codes. I knew them, but now I really see them. It's
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's almost
Mhm.
like the dimensional capacity for us to witness previously was limited to our state
Yeah,
of vibration, and now obviously that room has opened up completely, and we're seeing far more depth in the actual light that we're connecting with. It's
yeah,
the higher we're going, the more obviously intricate all of these constructions appear, and we can see and we can
exactly.
begin to tune in and understand them. It's basic. It's, if you think about it, it's the beginning of the higher dynamics that we are capable and already know, but we haven't seen previously due to our limitations. So, yeah, happy
Exactly. It's like
days.
with my students, I'm ending my therapist of the new world now, because I feel like, how can I teach when everything is changing? I'm like,
Yeah.
just go into the field and see. But it's really like that. That's what I'm being guided to teach now. It's really like, every day, every time you have a client, because it's the same thing for me, I go into the field, and it's like, the level of technology, the high level technology from the Arcturus, from Andromeda, and all of this that comes in that we now can access. I mean, come on, we've been doing so many activations with them, and
Yeah.
finally we're here.
Yeah.
So when I'm seeing the spinning technology, when we connect yesterday, I'm like, wow, this is so it's a lot also about leaning back,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the work, seeing the energetic work, seeing the codes, and we're not gonna do so much anymore
No.
in the healing energetic space. Before we were like kind of there with them,
Hmm.
clearing, drawing, doing, and now it's more like, wow, okay, that's what you're doing. We can call them in, we can ask. It's more about using the free will, the divine free will, and asking, can we do this in the highest? And then it's like, wow. So I really, really feel that it's going to go so fast now, the next 6 to 12 months, like the technology, the energetic technology that comes in, that goes online. It's like my team says, we're going online now. I'm like, okay, okay, wake up. They're like, it's time to go online, the new techniques. I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to do like this anymore. No.
No. It's time to relearn it again.
So yes, it's gonna go fast now. It's gonna go fast. So it's
We'll keep up.
amazing times.
We'll keep up. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. So thank you, team. Nice to be here
Um,
again,
yeah, and thank
doing a
you, Lena.
live. And thank you, everyone. And we will put the link for the Glastonbury. There's still spots left.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to, I
Going
think,
quickly though.
yeah, we're 80 already coming together.
Yeah.
So there's a few spots left. And also just reach out to my assistants if you need any help with recommendations and stuff like that. It's gonna be epic and amazing. And I'm also opening the whole thing on the Friday with a light language, ecstatic, spiritual dancing. So
Excellent.
that's gonna be so much fun. I want to be an MC, I want to be in spiritual MC team. And do you think it's too late when you're turning 48 to become a spiritual
Oh
MC?
no, I don't think
I
there's
don't
any
think so.
limitations on that. I think
I'm
someone's
like, raise your hands, let's raise the vibration.
yeah, you'll fly it. You'll fly it.
It's never too late. I think it's going to be amazing. Again, being there energetically with the bodies, with the music, and we are being together, we can raise the frequency of the whole planet
Yeah, very, very quickly. Very
very
quickly.
quickly. So
Definitely.
thank you all for being here with us. We hope this assisted you a little bit, and we will
Yeah.
come back also and talk more about the 6 month advanced
Yes, we'll have some more
ascension
information about that
journey.
soon, won't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, blessings to all of you.
Lots of love. Bye for now.
Lots of love. Much love, team.
Bye.
Bye.